All right, everybody, how you doing? It's Sean from Ridesharing101.com, and today's vlog is the death of Uber and Lyft. And I know that sounds very titillating, and it sounds like clickbait, but changes are coming to rideshare. This isn't about the death of rideshare, because rideshare is not going away, but how Uber and Lyft do business is changing drastically. So I'm going to give you a really quick history of Uber, and this goes back to Travis Kalanick, because it's very prophetic. There's a TED Talk where Travis Kalanick is talking to an audience, and he is talking about, I think it's somewhere in the turn of the century. The economy is good, things are booming, people are going to work, people need to get to work, and there are long lines for buses and cabs. An enterprising guy says, why don't I give some of these people a ride? I'll make some money. Kind of like the original gypsy cab, if you will. And he would charge them a nickel. And slang term for a nickel was a jitney. Kind of like how the slang term for a quarter is 2 bits today. Don't know the derivation. Doesn't matter. Well, his business was wildly successful. He made a lot of money. It was very popular. A lot of people saw what he was doing. They got into business, and all of a sudden, there are all these jitney cabs, jitney buses, jitney whatever. These people are giving people rides. They're making money. Well, the only problem is the taxi companies, the bus companies, they're losing money. They're losing profits. They see their profits going down the street. Does this sound familiar with the taxi cabs and rideshare? Well, what did they do? They went to their politicians and they said, hey, you got to stop this. We're losing money. You're losing tax revenue. We donate to your causes. What are you going to do? And basically what happened was these jitneys got legislated out of business. They were forced to have licenses and endure regulations that the other companies didn't have to. They were very popular. They made their money. They went out of business. End of story. The reason I bring this up is it's very prophetic. Travis Kalanick saw this as the birth of rideshare. Like, hey, he could copy that model and make money. But he didn't address the legislative side, and that's what's killing Uber now. Uber's business model, as far as I'm concerned, has always been it's better to ask for forgiveness than permission. And a lot of people in tech call that the disruptive economy. And basically disruptive means you just act entitled and screw the rules and deal with the consequences later. In the meantime, you just take all the cash and pocket it right away. Okay, so I should quote George Santayana. Most of you have no idea who that is, but you know the quote, or you know the quote as, those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it. The real quote was, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it, but either one works. Okay. AB 5 in California just passed. It's a law. It's going to make gig economy workers employees instead of independent contractors. I'm not going to debate whether that's good or bad or how I feel about it. What I do want to talk about is the fact that Uber specifically has spent so much time trying to capture market share that they forgot to concentrate on the other side of the business, which is basically making a profit. Uber generates income, but they do not make a profit. They have way too many expenses. They have too many employees. They're paying out bonuses left and right. They're settling lawsuits. They really didn't take care of the drivers. They didn't take care of the people that generate their income. People drive for Uber and Lyft. Especially the people that drive for Uber, they hate Uber. Uber's bigger, so that's why they drive for them. But that is changing because Uber spent so much time trying to capture market share. Like I said, they didn't concentrate on profit. But by expanding so fast and not concentrating on profit, they allowed other people into the markets. They couldn't fully squash their competition. They had to. Now they've gone public. Yes, they generate money, but they're not making a profit. Other people see kind of what they did wrong. They're correcting it, and they're going to come in and they're going to smack the hell out of Uber. So quickly, let's talk about what's going on competition-wide. Well, first, let's backtrack a little bit. We're going to talk about Rideshare Austin. Austin, Texas wanted Uber to fingerprint the drivers and do a better background check. And Uber said, no, we're not going to do that. If we have to do that, we'll leave. And Austin said, okay, don't let the door hit your butt on the way out. And Uber and Lyft were like, okay. And they left. They ran away. Well, Austin is like the Silicon Valley of Texas. So they came up with their own rideshare company. They designed their own app, called it Rideshare Austin. Local drivers just driving in Austin, you can round your fare up, donate the money to charity. It's all good. They've given I think over 2 million rides to date. Well, Uber saw this and was like, oh. So what did they do? They went to their politicians. Sound familiar? Okay. And they said, hey, we can't have this if we have different regulations from city to city. So Texas politicians, we need you to regulate this and just make it standard so it's the same rules throughout the state. And by the way, we want it so we don't have to do fingerprinting. And the politicians in Texas said, yes. And then Uber and Lyft came back. Rideshare Austin is still around. It's still viable, still working. Another competitor, Juno, in New York. Juno started, I think they sold it to Get, which is another foreign rideshare company, for a couple $100 million. You can catch a Juno in New York, from my understanding. Wait times are longer, much longer than Uber and Lyft, but it's still viable. That was kind of I'll call that the first generation of competition. Now you're getting the second generation. You're getting Trip, which I believe is just in Florida. Trip is subscription model. It's kind of pay to play, like the hair metal bands in LA in the 80s. Basically, you pay a certain amount per month depending on how much you think you're going to drive, part-time, full-time, and all that. And then basically Trip will keep the booking fee, which is like $1 or $2 around there, and the driver gets the whole fare. Okay, so that's one model. Then you have another model, which is the Ziro model. Ziro starts beta testing, I think, tomorrow here in San Francisco, in the Bay Area. And basically, they only keep $1, which is the booking fee, and the rest of the funds go to the driver, 100%. In addition, Ziro, once you've driven a little while, you'll have a refurbished iPad, mounts in the car, and there's content on that. And Ziro is going to use that content to subsidize the profit that they get. I don't know if it's going to be commercial or if people are going to pay content for stuff that they want to have viewed, but that's what they're going to do. This is very interesting because the Ziro model, and my code, I'll leave it in the video, but if I send somebody up, I get $20. It's none of this $500, $750 minus this, minus that kind of BS that Uber did. It's $20. That's it. If I sign up a rider, I get 50 cents for every ride that they take, up to $50. So if people take a ride like twice a week, 52 weeks in a year, that's $25 a year. It'll keep going until you reach 50, and then it ends. Not a bad deal. You're not going to make a ton of money, but it's a little bit, and it's something. Now you're like, okay, Sean, but you were talking about the death of Uber and Lyft. You know, how is one little rideshare company in San Francisco going to kill Uber and Lyft? Okay, well, think about it. Ziro initially was going to go with 1,000 drivers for the beta testing. Okay, let's say you have 250 riders and they take 4 people a day. That's 1,000 people. It's $1,000 for them times 365 days out of the year. Okay, 365,000. Okay, well, let's bump that up. Got 1,000 Ziro rideshares in San Francisco Bay Area. They take 10 people a day. That's 10,000. That's $10,000. That's 3,650,000. Not bad. I think Uber would love it if they made $3,650,000, but they're losing $2 billion a quarter lately. What do you think is going to happen with Uber and Lyft when the 6-month period is up and all the employees can sell their stock? You know what's going to happen. They're going to sell their stock and they're going to leave. I wouldn't be surprised if Uber and Lyft lose half their employees, or if all the people that have all that stock sell it and then go. I don't know if that's half the company or however many it is, but I could see a large portion of the Uber and Lyft folks saying, bye, see ya. Imagine the Ziros, the Rideshare Austin, these other companies. And these are just the ones that are here now. More and more are going to pop up. If you realize, hey, all I need is a few thousand drivers and a decent app, and we could make some money. Because the people that work for Uber and Lyft don't like them. At first it was great because you would get a percentage of the fare, so you could tell how much you were going to get. But then Uber and Lyft changed the game. They changed how you got paid. They went to a distance and time model, which most drivers didn't want. I don't like it. I think it sucks. I think it's horrible. There's surge, there's bonuses, there's things that drivers no longer got, but the company still takes. There's all these lawsuits against Uber over all the shenanigans that they did, things that they were supposed to give, didn't give, took away, things that they weren't as upfront about as they should be. Given a chance to take all the profit, why wouldn't somebody want to drive for the Ziros of the world? If you're told you can keep 100% of the profit from your fare, why wouldn't you drive for that company? Especially with how Uber and Lyft have treated you. The other thing too is these newer companies, since they're giving more, they can ask for more. With Uber, cars could be, I think, up to 10 years old in the San Francisco Bay Area. All right, well, think about a new rideshare company that comes in. They could say, hey, well, we're going to give you 100% of the profit, but we would like you to have a newer, sort of cleaner car. So we want your car to be 5 years or less. And Uber says you have to be 4.6, but we want to give a really good experience to the customer. We want to have newer cars, nicer cars. We would like you to have a 4.8 rating. They're going to poach the best drivers, the best cars from Uber and Lyft. What's that going to do to Uber and Lyft? Uber and Lyft, you're going to have older vehicles, drivers that aren't as pleasant, aren't as nice, don't know the area as well. Quality will suffer. More passengers will say, well, why should I take Uber and Lyft? I'll take a Ziro. It's a little cheaper anyway. I can pick my driver. I mean, the writing's on the wall. It's not going to happen right away. It'll take a little time. But with these new companies, I see a huge switch. I see this as a tremendous competition. I can see them taking over. I think probably what'll happen is Uber and Lyft will probably have to merge, and one of these other new companies will sort of leapfrog them and take control. All because Uber and Lyft were so busy in expanding market share that they didn't concentrate on the core value, which is making a profit and taking care of the people that made them money. So I'd love to know what you think. I could go into this more, but I'm already at 15 minutes. It's going to get interesting, folks. So let me know what you think. Leave a comment, subscribe, join the Facebook group, and hey, I'll see you next video. Drive safe.